Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with former Broncos receiver Nate Jackson. And Nate, a lot of hype around this team right now, and they feel like it's built in by the. Do we need to cool our jets?
No.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted.
I think we need to warm the jets.
Okay.
We need to turn it up.
Yeah.
High expectations, yield, great results. I think they're saying the same thing in that building. We should be saying the same thing as fans. Now, we shouldn't think everything's going to be perfect.
Right.
If they were to lose the first game or have some struggles coming out of the gate, we can't turn our backs on them or think the sky is falling. It's a long season. This is a very difficult first 6 games of this season, right? And Sean Payton has had a notoriously difficult time coming out of the gate. Not difficult, but average. For a coach as good as he is, he's been average in the first 4 games of the season. So if they come out 1-3 or 2-2, it doesn't mean that Super Bowl aspirations need to be put on the back burner.
Right.
We got to see how this thing goes 1 week at a time, but absolutely, this is a team that could win it all.
That's a Sean Tober. October's his month,
Sean
man.
Tober.
He has one heck of a month. But when you look at that stretch, how much are you going to weigh what this Broncos team is based? Like when you look at the schedule based on those 6 games, and then there's kind of some lightweights down the stretch.
Yeah.
So how much stock do you put into those first 6?
You got to put a lot of stock in every game.
Yeah.
You don't really know how good these opponents are actually going to be this year. There's teams who were really good last year who are not going to be good this year. There's teams that you just mentioned are going to be lightweights that are going to be heavyweights. They're going to actually be good this year.
Yeah.
So you take every opponent seriously. You prepare to face their best. You treat them with respect. They're all professional football players trying just as hard as you are every day, right? So any team can beat you at any time. But you got the Rams, you got the Niners, you got the Seahawks, you got the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Chiefs and one other one. I can't. But that's a lot of teams that are really good, very talented quarterbacks. One of the things that the Broncos got lucky with last year, they didn't face a lot of very talented quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And so this year they're going to face a more difficult schedule. But I'd like to see them get out of the gate 3-3. I think they want to get out of the gate 6-0.
Yeah.
They want to win every game.
Yeah.
They don't have to. But I think they're going to get off to a pretty good start.
I think there's a lot of excitement about what this offense is going to look like this year under Davis Webb, with Jalen Waddle, with some revamped running backs. What are your expectations for this offense?
Well, it's still Sean Payton's offense. We got to remember that. It's not some new offense. It's not like Davis Webb's offense, right? And he said as much. This is Sean Payton's offense. Davis Webb is kind of like the DJ. He's choosing the songs, right?
Yeah.
He's choosing the order. He's like, running the party. But Sean Payton's making the music still. Yeah. Now, I'm sure Davis Webb still has some ideas that he injects in it. But this is his first year doing it. Sean Payton's not going to put it all on his plate and say, go ahead, Davis, you do it. So I still think it's going to be even more dynamic. Having that voice in there, a player kind of go-between. He's 31 years old. He can still be a player, right? Davis Webb. So Bo loves him. The guys love him. They respond to his messaging. Jalen Waddle, they got some other pieces. Jonah Coleman. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch this offense. If they can keep pace with what the defense is doing, this is a Super Bowl team. I'm
kind of excited to see Sean Payton almost in this CEO role and maybe focus on some ancillary things.
Loosen his tie a little bit.
We even saw him in the preseason game going over talking to the defense.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to settle in. I mean, there might be some times where it feels weird, but I think he might settle in kind of nicely into this new role.
I do too. First of all, a very humble thing to be able to do that.
Yeah.
With all the success you've had, Super Bowl champion, all the numbers they put up in New Orleans, to give the reins to someone else.
Yeah.
Right? It's a very selfless move. And to oversee the whole football operation thing. But I think it's going to be good for Sean Payton and his legacy. If the Broncos are able to be better and win a Super Bowl, that's Sean Payton's Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who's calling the plays.
Absolutely.
You're overseeing the whole operation. It's your team, right? And I think he knows that. And I think he has a finger on the pulse, and he's doing the right thing for this team.
We've been talking about this a lot in the sports office, just what Sean Payton has done. He's come to Denver, right? And in this very, very short time span, it took him 2 years to get him back to the playoffs, 3 years to an AFC championship. Year 4, we're talking Super Bowl or bust. Can you just speak on, you've played for some great coaches and some not so great coaches, right? Of what Sean Payton has done here in Denver.
Made them believe again, that they're going to win every game they go into. And I mentioned it earlier in the show about the routine, the weekly routine. Here's what we do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you do it exactly like this, we're going to win games. We're going to win more than we lose. And for a young player who's not used to that, he hasn't won yet, he doesn't really know what kind of routine leads to a victory. But once you see it work, week after week after week, year after year, you start to have a locker room full of veterans who believe and trust in the system. And then Sean Payton can kind of step back. He doesn't have to coach all the time and say everything. You got veterans who are going to teach the young guys how to do it. And Sean Payton has been able to bring that confidence in the routine and the process. He's you know, a head coach has to oversee a lot of different compartments, and he has mastered all those compartments. I mean, he stays up late at night thinking about the tiniest ways to tweak this operation to make it more efficient, right? And you just got to love that this team is entrusted with a guy like that who cares that much about it. He's psychotic about it. He wants to gain the edge no matter what, and it's really about gaining that tiny edge over your opponent because everyone's working really hard. So who's got the edge on Sunday that's going to result in a victory? And Sean Payton has his finger on the pulse of how to get that edge.
Can the season get here already? Nate, you are the best. Thank you for taking the time tonight. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Romy.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.